You're going to start standing with your feet hip distance apart. Grow up tall through the crown of the head. Make sure you're lifted. There's a feeling of rooting down through your feet, relaxing the shoulders, chest a little bit lifted, butt a little bit squeezed, not massively, but just a little bit, and shoulders relaxed, crown of the head up. Let's just start to circle weight around your feet. Keep your toes on the floor. Do not rock back onto your heels and pull the fronts of your feet up. I want you to keep your toes down and concentrate on the balls of your feet from the big toe across to the little toe. The back of the big toe across the little toe. The toes themselves are anchoring. They are not weight bearing. So keep this rolling, happening from side to side. And when you're ready, switch directions. Pay attention, toe pads, not the toes themselves. The feeling of pressing down through the backs of the heels all the way across and engaging with the outer edges of the feet as well. Become aware of your tendencies. Are you tending to rock in and rock out? Are your feet sort of pulling in? Are your knees pulling in or dropping out? Just become aware of that. Okay, start to center this circular motion so you are as evenly placed between your feet and across the feet as you can. Lift up again, because people often sag when they do this work. Bring your attention up to your pelvic floor. Gently lift your pelvic floor as high as you can. In, back, and up. Butt doesn't need to squeeze. Your butt cheeks can stay relaxed with your pelvic floor. They're not attached to it, but you will feel your lower abdomen lift and maybe the fronts of your hips. Then release that. Do it one more time. Go about halfway, half the intensity, and release it. And just a light lift now. And you will notice you should feel lengthened through your lower back when your pelvic floor is lightly lifted. Tailbone is drawing down towards the floor. It is not tucking under, it's drawing down. That's all. So it's a small lift. Bring your attention to the whole of your waist, from the tops of your hips to the base of your ribs. It's a very thick band around your center. Pull it in as tightly as you can. Keep your pelvic floor lightly lifted, and then release. And then pull in about halfway, and then release. And then cinch lightly. So it's just the lightest hug all the way around from the back, sides and front. You're not just flattening your stomach or hollowing it, you're hugging. And relax your shoulders, hold that in. We're just going to roll the shoulders back and down a few times. And make sure the shoulders draw back and down, stay soft, and lift through the crown of your head. When you're ready, inhale, circle your arms up towards the ceiling, hold your setup, and exhale, sweep your arms down. Let's go again. Inhale, tall mountain, circle your arms up. You can gaze up if you want, but don't let your ribs pull forward, and then lower down. And let's go again. Inhale, circle your arms up. And exhale to take your right arm to your right thigh and your left arm across. Hold your setup and don't hunch. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, cactus pose. Elbows wide and back. Palms out and open. Don't pull your elbows to your waist, just below your shoulders. Push your chest up, lift up through the hips, squeeze your bum, gaze up, and then inhale to square off, reach for the ceiling. Exhale for a vertical twist, left arm forward, right arm back. Try and keep your hips forward, nice and smooth. Inhale through center, don't hoik your neck, you don't need to. Exhale the other way. You don't even need to use your neck on this movement if you don't want to. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, soft forward fold. Knees drop behind, hips drop behind your knees, a long flat back to lower down. Inhale for your halfway lift. Lengthen through your spine. Flat back, fingertips to hands to shins or fingertips to the floor, whatever's right for you. Exhale, standing forward fold. Keep your knees soft if you need to. I want you to stay in a flat back position. So if you're high up here, bring your left hand to your right shin, your right hand behind your back with the palm facing away, and gently lift your right shoulder. Otherwise, same position for your right hand, but fingers to the floor, and raise your right shoulder up. Just a little twist here. Release to center, right hand down, left arm behind your shoulder, lengthen through your spine, and it's either right hand to left shin and rotate, keep your hips still, or right fingers to the floor, lift your left shoulder up and release. Soften your knees, press your chest forward, circle your arms up, tall mountain, reach for the ceiling, draw your waist in, pelvic floor up, exhale, hands to heart. Let's flow. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus. Do not squeeze your elbows to your waist. Keep them wide, broad, and open. Open up your fingertips wide, chest up. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, side bend to the right. Don't let your hips move. Inhale through center. Keep those shoulders stacked over your hips, over to the left. Inhale through center. Arms up, tops of the shoulders away from your ears. Left arm forward, right arm back. Rotate from the navel up. Vertical twist. Inhale, release to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, soft forward fold. Hips back, flat back. Come to your version of halfway lift. Lengthen out. Fingertips to the floor. Bend your knees or hands to shins. Straighten up through your legs, whatever you choose. And take your right hand behind your waist, bound with the palm away, and then rotate your right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Inhale through center, switch sides, whatever variation you're doing. Exhale, try not to move your knees. Back to center, standing forward fold, hips high, pelvic floor up. Doesn't matter how straight your legs are, but they want to feel a little lengthened. Soften your knees, press your chest forward, come up with a flat back, hinging from your hips to reach for the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart. One more round. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Keep that nip at the waist, pelvic floor up, nice and stacked and open. Inhale through center and exhale, second side. Take your time. Inhale through center. Exhale, vertical twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, vertical twist to the left. And up through center. Exhale, soft forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees, hands to shins or to the floor. Right arm extends all the way up. Don't move your knees. Do not skew your knees. Exhale down. Left arm up, doesn't matter how far you twist, keep your hips and lower body still. Exhale down. Bring your hands to the floor. Load your shoulders over your hands, and then without moving your shoulders, walk your feet back and bring your knees down to the floor. Then adjust your knees so that they're under your hips. From your all fours position, just check you're definitely at all fours. Cinch your waist, pelvic floor draws in and up. Your neck is long. Keep your gaze glued a little bit ahead of your fingers, centered, so that the crown of your head is lengthening forward and your neck is long. You're not looking back at your knees and you're not looking down at your hands. Draw your shoulders back, lengthen your neck. We're going to work through cats and cows. Inhale, roll your shoulders back and down, lift your hips, lengthen up through your arms, exhale, round. Press your navel up, hug your ribs up, tuck your butt. And again, inhale, arms stay straight, press yourself up and out of your arms as you lift your chest and tailbone. Lengthen through your spine, exhale, ripple, draw your butt down towards the floor, scoop your pelvic floor, belly, ribs, chest up towards the ceiling, and keep those arms strong. One more. Inhale, lift your tailbone, lengthen through the spine, chest comes forward, gaze forward, and work those arms so that you're pushing up off them, lifting and elevating out of your arms. When you're ready, bring this back to neutral. We're going to bring the right leg forward to a lunge. If you don't have them nearby, I recommend grabbing your blocks. In a similar way, we're lifting up out of the floor to elevate and stabilize, right? So right foot wants to start in a nice square position here. Knees, toes, ankles all lined up with the hip. Left hip is square with your right hip. Pad out your left knee if you need to. I would start by bringing your hands to your hips here. Push down through your right leg. Make sure your right knee is not dropping in or out, really square. And then lift your chest up. Pelvic floor lifts. Belly is slightly in, but the waist is fully hugged. Chest is up, shoulders are back. Weave your hands and place them on your right thigh. From here, you should have a decent stretch into your left thigh in front of the hip. This is a general kneeling lunge. We can deepen this for those of you who have the flexibility, but you need to maintain your neutral spine, your core connection, your pelvic floor. So your waist stays hugged, butt stays squeezed, pelvic floor stays up. Wiggle your right foot forward. Don't let it drop in or out. And then start to pull your navel up, squeeze your bum and hinge forward. Notice how my knee is remaining over my foot. It's a pillar. This leg is a pillar. It's pushing me up. I'm lifting. If it's better, you can bring your hands to blocks for this. So keep lifting as you hinge forward and down. Make sure that right knee stays over the foot for this lunge. It's a big one. If you go deep, it's a big one. If you stay square, it's a big one. Whatever you do, it's quite a big one. Okay, stay strong. On an exhale, pull your belly and your hips back so that your left hip is lined up with your right hip. Left hip is over the knee. Right leg has straightened out, or you straighten it out yourself. Activate that right leg. Point the toes back towards the shin firmly. If you need it, have a micro bend in your leg. That means a very tiny nudge from locked and straight so that that knee isn't locked. And now, waist in, pelvic floor up, neutral spine, hinge forward. Try not to round. Well, try not to round. Ideally, do not round. The sensation should be at the center point of your right hamstrings. That's the back of your thigh. Not pulling at your hip or your knee, and not so tense it's shaking. If that's you, then you need to soften this off, come up high, maybe soften the knee a bit and pull the hips back a little bit. Be mindful, going rigid with tension doesn't accomplish anything. Okay, I'm gonna switch legs in a moment, but first, big step back. We're gonna go to all fours, and we're going to do a little bit of side to side movements. So we're not moving up and down through the spine. You're coming to neutral spine. Gaze a little ahead of your fingertips as you exhale. Squeeze your right hip and right shoulder towards each other. You can look to the right, but do not round or arch your back. Inhale through center. Exhale, squeeze over to the left. Left hip, left shoulder. Squeeze together. Inhale through center. Exhale, squeeze. So as long as you keep your spine neutral, neither rounding nor arching, just natural rhythms of a curve, and a light cinch through your waist, light lift through your pelvic floor, feeling actively lifted out from your arms and your hips, but not too intense. You're just right here. No hanging, no arching, no hunching. Good. Let's bring this back to center, finishing on the left. Grab your blocks again if you need them. We're going to bring the left leg forward for that low lunge. Start high, general kneeling lunge. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted, hips are square. Pad out the back knee if you need to. Front knee is lined up over your ankle to start. Lift your pelvic floor, cinch your waist, squeeze your butt, and do not slouch. Squeezing your right butt should cause your tailbone to draw down and your front hip to extend forward. If you need to go deeper or want to go deeper, you can bring your blocks with you so you don't slouch, or keep your hands on your thigh. Chest stays up, elevate and lift. The left knee stays over the ankle at all times. Left knee doesn't drop or roll. Push your foot down firmly. Feel yourself lift up out of this base. All the way through this flow, you're going to be lifting up out of your base. Chest lifts, shoulders back. actively pushing your feet down so that you can ground and stabilize. On a big exhale, pull your hips back, pull your navel back, lengthen your chest forward. So your right hip is now lined up with your left hip, nice and square. So come up high if you need to arrange this. Your left hip is also stacked over your left knee. Right toes are firmly pointing back, and if you need to, you have a micro bend in your left knee. Hinge forward for this is half splits variation. I'm just lowering my block so you can see. Spine is neutral, chest is forward, shoulders back and relaxed, waist cinched, pelvic floor up, legs nice and extended and strong, pressing up. There is no muscle that is just hanging out doing nothing right now. They're all making sure that I'm doing this movement properly. I think maybe my toes are relaxed. Yeah, my toes are fairly relaxed, apart from the left ones, which are pulling back. Thigh is squeezed. Well done. Tension, you're looking for light tension. Press yourself up, take your left knee back, and come into a wide knee variation of child's pose that suits you. You can have your hips high or your hips low. You can you can be more seated if you prefer. I want you to be active here. So rather than letting your shoulders just sag down around you, pull your hips back, press your fingers forward like you're trying to reach over the edge of a cliff or off the edge of a cliff or something. Extend and maybe look towards your thumbs as long as it doesn't intensely squash up your neck. One breath here as you walk your hands over to the right. Keep your left hip back. Don't go too far. I like to weave my left fingertips between my right fingers and pull back a little bit more firmly. If you like, you can gently pull your right shoulder up for a teeny tiny twist, but your hips stay stable. Wherever you are, hips are not moving. Really just still lightly engaged through my core, trying to stay neutral in my spine. Let's walk it back through center and over to the other side. Extend, hinge back, lengthen out. Okay, over to the left here, just enjoying this side bend and then walking it back to center. Let's make our way into downward facing dog, knees under hips, hands a little bit forward of your shoulders, pull your hips up and back, lengthen up, pull. You don't have to straighten your legs, but if you're ready to, you can. If you're bending your knees, bend your knees towards your chest so your hips continue to press back, active through your arms, and pedal, stretch, not coming into the toes, coming to the balls of the feet. So don't dangle one foot as you come up onto the very tips of the toes. Keep your feet really well grounded evenly and squeeze each heel firmly towards the floor. So the foot that is extending is stretching at the calf and ankle, and the bent knee, you're stretching into your toes. Good. Press both heels towards the floor. Extend your hips back. Maybe the legs lengthen if they're ready to. Really strong in the shoulders. One more breath. Look towards the top of your mat and stroll forward. Soft forward fold. Opposite elbow to opposite hand for ragdoll. Drape your upper body over your thighs if you can. Sit your hips back a long way and maybe have a little sway. Fantastic. Release your arms. Lengthen out through your spine. Lengthen out through your legs a little bit. Inhale. Reverse swan dive. Take your arms out wide. Hinge from your hips as you come up. Tall mountain. Exhale. Hands to heart. Shoulders back and down. Waist drawn in. Tall through the crown of your head. Pelvic floor lightly lifted. Take a breath. You're going to bring your hands to your hips. I find it's best because then you can make sure your hips don't move. Shift your weight into your left leg. Hips do not tilt. Do not lock your left leg. You're going to bring your right knee up without shifting the position of your pelvis at all, and then lower it all the way back down. Smooth and slow movements. Your pelvis does not tilt. Your pelvic floor stays up. Do not pull your foot back. As you lift into forward scale, this variation, the left lower leg sort of dangles off the thigh. Don't pull your leg back. Good. Let's do that same thing on the second side. Shift to center, reset yourself, neutral spine, pelvic floor up, tailbone drawing down, ribs lightly in, waist in, left leg comes up, pelvis doesn't move, and then lower down. Very steady, controlled movements. Left leg comes up. I see a lot of people sort of passively taking these movements. One more like this, and then we're going to make it a little bit more challenging, and then lower down. Shift back to center. It's normal to feel like your standing leg is the one that's working. Cannot stress enough how important it is to avoid shoving your pelvis back and forth to compensate for the size of the movement. Right, the next attempt is going to be with a straight leg. If you found the bent leg variation to be challenging enough, do that again. Okay, shoulders over hips, waist in, pelvic floor up, shift your weight into your left leg. This time, as you start to balance, lengthen out your right leg in front of you and keep the toes relaxed and see if you can lift the right leg a little bit without moving your pelvis. And then bring it back. You'll have to flex the toes back to bring it back to center. Extend forward and lift. It may not come very high. And lower. Now I just had to lift my gaze back up because I was looking down because I was concentrating on my leg instead of my standing posture, which is the most important thing. So last one, back. It's normal for it to feel really heavy in your thigh. Shift your weight over to the right leg. Slightly hover the left foot off the floor, lengthen it forward. The left leg doesn't actually need to actively engage. You're just pulling it forward. The thigh will clench itself and then bring it back. Notice, is your pelvis arching and tilting? Is your lower back arching and tilting? Make it stop. Your right leg is solid and straight, not locked or inverted, just straight. Last one. Very normal to have a small range of motion here. Let's bring it back to center. We're going to do that same exercise going back. It's harder to control going back because you will want to pull your hips back. Keep them square. It's a much smaller range of motion for most people. Shoulders back and down, waist in, pelvic floor up. Shift your weight into your left foot. Shore yourself up, shoulders to hips. Tension, but not rigidity. Shift into the left foot and then keep your right foot a little bit engaged, like your sole of your foot is facing the floor. And then squeeze your right leg back a little way. You'll feel your butt squeeze and then bring it back to center. Squeeze it back, bring it back to center. One more time, squeeze it back, bring it back to center. And switch legs. It should feel like a fair bit of work, right? So we're not hinging, just standing up tall. Left leg releases from the floor, load up the right side, square off, shore yourself up from hips, shoulders, all the way down your right leg. Squeeze your right leg back. Do not move the rest of your body at all. And then bring it back to center. Squeeze it back. Bring it back to center. No hinging, no leaning. Squeeze it back. Bring it back to center. Bring yourself back through center. Okay, now we can hinge. So next variation, 3 on each leg. You're going to allow yourself to hinge from your standing leg with a neutral spine. So the most important cue here is you want to imagine that you have a broom handle strapped between your heel of your right foot and your shoulder once you have squeezed it back as far as you can. So the first stage is to engage from your left foot all the way up to your left shoulder with a light hug that holds your tension. Then squeeze your right leg back however far it'll go And then from there, without bending your left leg, it's a broom handle from heel to shoulder. Hinge however far you can go, no further than a T shape. Do not round your spine, do not relax, sag your shoulders or hunch. You're hinging forward. So you gaze forward and take the crown of your head forward, and your right leg is pulling back. And then bring this back in. Just do the best you can. It's really hard to keep that line, but that's your intention. So bring it back to center. Let's try the opposite side. So right leg, load it up. Squeeze the left leg back and then lengthen. You're hinging from your right hip. The left heel is lengthening back and the shoulders, crown of the head and upper body are lengthening forward. Gaze forward, don't look at the floor. And then bring it back in. Slow. Okay, release to center. If you fell over, if you hunched, if you rounded, if you were gazing at the floor, if it felt too hard, you went too far, we're going to do it again, adjust for the second rep. So shifting the weight into the left leg, nice and tall. Lift through the right leg, squeeze your right leg back a little bit, and then extend. It's like the only part of your body that has any movement in is your left hip hinging. Bring it back in, do the best you can. I know I struggle to keep tension, so if you're looking at me and copying my movements, that would be a mistake. There's always a mistake. Let's switch to the other leg and then extend. Standing leg stays straight but not locked. Your gaze brings you forward, not down, so don't look at the floor. Well done. Bring it back to center, have a swing out if you want to. We're gonna add the forward scale and the backward scale, or staff to backward scale. We're going to step back into a crescent lunge and we're going to do some reps of movement there. So when you're ready, center yourself again, ground down through your feet, lift up nice and tall, pelvic floor up, shoulders relaxed, waist in, shift your weight into your left leg. Bring your right leg forward, either bent or straight, your choice. And now we're going to sweep it back. Pull with the heel. If you're bent leg, it's easier. Hinge if you're going to hinge, but you don't have to. Now start to bend into your left knee and place your right leg far back behind you with the back heel lifted. Ground down through your feet. Make sure that your left foot is dead underneath your ankle, in line with your hip. Knee stable over the ankle. Pull your arms up towards the ceiling. Lift and lengthen. Squeeze your butt. Pull your waist in. Pull your chest up. Gaze up. As you exhale, you're going to cactus your arms down and dip your back knee towards the floor, straight down. Doesn't matter how far you go. And then come back up to your lunge. Two more like that. Two, doesn't matter how far you go. Strong in that back leg. And one. Pick it up all the way straight. Bend into your left knee. Spiral your arms out wide. Swivel your right foot around so that the heel pulls back, the toes pull forward. Left foot continues out to the left for warrior two. Extend your arms. Make sure the crown of your head is lined up with your pelvis. Arms out wide. Press into both feet. Down. Both feet fully pressed down. Check the outer edge of your right leg. Ground down through your left foot. Left knee does not drive in or fall out. It drives down and stable. When you're ready, inhale, lengthen up your legs. Arms straight up to the ceiling. Exhale, sit back down into warrior two. Tailbones pointing down. Keep this moving. Inhale, waist stays in, pelvic floor stays up. My upper body is not moving except for the legs that are moving it up and down, right? So I'm not lunging forward or backwards. Last one. And then down. Well done. Reverse triangle. Relax your right arm back behind you. Turn your left palm up. Lengthen up your left leg and take your left arm up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your bum and maybe extend back a little bit. If your balance feels terrible, gaze forward. Do not lock your left knee. Still really active through both legs. Bring it back to center, warrior two. Side angle, right forearm to right thigh, lightly. Press down through the outer edge of your right leg and right arm up towards the ceiling. Left arm to thigh, right arm up to the ceiling. Really grounded through the feet, lots of work here. Solid, solid warrior two, reaching up. Look down towards your left toes. Relax your left arm so it's long. Straighten out your left leg and lift. Push down through your feet, lift up through your right arm. If you have a really solid triangle, you can deepen this by pushing down more firmly, extending through your spine, squeezing your hips. Shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. Don't do it if you're hunched, otherwise just stay high. So whichever version you're on, lengthened. Length through the spine, waist in, pelvic floor up, active. Bend into your left knee again, look down at your left toes, and then squeeze yourself all the way up. 5-pointed star, wide, wide, wide. Should we take forward fold? Just a brief one. Hands to hips, hinge, forward and down. Fingertips to the floor. Now, I know for some people, a straight leg, wide forward fold is a bad thing. So if that's you, turn your toes out about 20, 30 degrees, not too deep, and then nudge a little bend into your knees. And that should help. I want you to push down through your feet evenly and be a little bit active in these legs, right? If you're all right in a wide leg forward fold, toes are forward, heels are back, tense your thighs firmly, really push your feet down so you can feel that action going up the legs and you can relax your upper body. It doesn't matter where you get to or what you do with your arms. Take a deep breath. Fantastic. Wherever you are, everyone needs to turn their toes out, bend their knees, and we're going to roll up through the spine. So nice and opposite elbow to opposite hand. Push your hips downwards, as in tilt your butt downwards, and then exhale, roll yourself up, engaging through your spine as you come. Roll your shoulders back over your hips. Inhale, spiral your arms up high, and then swivel your feet so that your right toes turn to the right and your left toes turn forward. Make sure your right heel is lined up with the center of your left foot. Bend into your right knee, into warrior two. If you need to take a break before you do that sequence again, then I would recommend pause here, child's pose, and come back. Extend your arms, nudge your shoulders down, so tops of the shoulders away from your ears. Bend into your right knee, look at your right knee, stack it over the ankle, push your foot down firmly, and make sure your knee isn't dropping in or out. You should feel the action up the outer edge of your thigh to your butt. Push the outer edge of your left foot down firmly, and then ground that foot down. Extend your arms, and we're going to go up and down. Think about what you're doing with your legs. They are the only part of you, apart from your arms, that's moving. And they're very smooth, controlled movements. You're not locking into any position. Good, one more. And it should feel like hard work. Good, deep as you can, hold your warrior two, and then start to lengthen your right leg. Your whole body will shift back. Relax your left arm, right arm up towards the ceiling, reach up. Do not lock your right leg. Press up towards the ceiling. Good. Bring this back to center. Bend into your right knee. Right forearm lightly rests on your right thigh. Keep your feet and legs really still. Left arm up towards the ceiling, lift and lengthen up. Keep your hips from hunching. Don't hinge here. So both hips nice and open and stacked. Okay, look down towards your right toes and then just relax your right arm down on the inside of your leg. Start to lengthen up your right leg for triangle. Come up higher if you need to, and then hinge back down. Shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. You're not leaning forward or back. Active through both legs, active in your waist. You can have a shorter step here if you need to. You can bring your legs in. Look down towards your toes. Bend into your right leg. Spiral your left arm around, swivel your left foot around, and step your left foot forward to standing forward fold. Take a pause here in ragdoll. Just have a little sway out. We are going to get all of these postures finished in this round, but we're just going to take our forward scale and backward scale before we take crescent lunge and the dips. So when you're ready, inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. Exhale, standing forward fold. Soften your knees, inhale, circle up. Exhale, hands to heart. If you need to take a break and reset for a minute or two, grab a glass of water, this is the time to do it. We're going to do the balancing exercises, followed by the crescent lunge, another forward fold, and then we'll end up facing the front of the mat again. So there's another section of work that, if you do it well, can be quite demanding. Just carry on with me if you're ready. Okay, shoulders back and down, pelvic floor up, waist in, stacked, weighted evenly through the feet. Do your grounding exercise again if you need to. Shift your weight into your right leg. I'm going to keep my hands on my hips to make sure I don't release here. And I'm going to go straight for the straight leg. You can do the bent leg if you want, your choice. Lift leg up. No movement in your pelvis. And then pull it back. Standing leg is straight but not locked. What we're doing here is teaching our body to let your leg move while stabilizing through your deep core muscles. This is not heavy core work, this is stability work. Good, last one here. Shift legs. Again, you choose whether it's a straight leg or a bent leg. It depends on what you do well. So, right leg. Left leg engaged, standing tall. Right leg drift forward. And then back. There's nothing easy about this work. I think you need to check what you're doing if you're finding it easy as pie, because it's possible something is not happening. You might not find it as hard as, say, planking or press-ups, but it should feel demanding on your concentration, on tension, on stability. Well done. Right leg comes down. If you need a break, take a break. Lengthen up again, shift your weight into your right leg and hinge. Left leg back by the heel, no movement in the pelvic basin, no arching, rounding of your lower back or shoulders. Bring it back to center. This is a smaller movement, doesn't take as long. Feel that squeeze in your left glute. One more, about 4 on each leg here. Switch legs. Good, grow up tall. Take your time to establish your base. Eye line is just slightly higher than you think for your horizon. Well done. Switch back to the left leg for one round of hinging back to crescent lunge. So hands down by your side, shift your weight into your right leg. We're going to pull the left knee up. Exhale, sweep it back. Go back as far as you can without releasing your pelvis. Then start to hinge at the pelvis. Bend into your right knee, place the left foot on the floor, sweep your arms up towards the ceiling, lift and lengthen through the crown of your head. Pelvic floor is lifted, waist is in. You are not passive anywhere. Right knee is dead over the ankle. Left leg is extended and strong. Exhale, small dip. Doesn't matter how low you go, but don't let your front knee drop in or out. Back to your lunge. 2. Steady, back to your lunge. Cactus arms. 3. Back to your lunge. Last one, you got this. 4. and straight up, all the way up. Lengthen, spiral yourself around, 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands to hips. Hinge forward from your hips with a flat back. Come to your standing forward fold, wide legs. Fingertips to the floor, so you're in a halfway lift. You can have your hands on your blocks if you prefer. Keep your hips absolutely still and tense. You can have a tiny bend if you struggle with ankle loading or straight legs. You're going to take your right hand behind your back with the palm back. Exhale, do not move your hips. Rotate your right shoulder up and back to center. Press down evenly through your feet. 2, no pain here. And 3, don't move your hips. Switch arms. Left arm behind your back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, rotate. One more. 3. Well done. In your wide leg forward fold, you're going to walk your hands over to the left, swivel your feet around, come to low lunge, facing the front of your mat with the left knee forward. Step your right foot forward. Have a soft forward fold here. Rock out, relax. Lovely stuff. From here, just bring your fingertips to the floor, heel and toe your feet out a little wider, and we're going to come into garland pose, which is a wide squat. Sink your hips down. If you can, keep your feet flat, but you can come up onto toes if you need to. Elbows on the insides of your knees. Gently or firmly, push your elbows into your knees. Press the knees out so they are lined up with your toes. Now, push the knees out, push your feet down, push your hips down. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted, crown of the head lifted. As you push your feet down, notice that feeling of lift. See if you can keep your knees where they are and just relax your elbows away from them while keep driving your knees out. Just do that for a moment, then put your elbows back in, then bring your fingertips to the floor, walk your feet back and come to child's pose or any rest of your choice. Lengthen out through your spine and relax. Lift your gaze towards your thumbs and start to walk your hands back towards this wide kneeling position. From here, you can use your fingertips or blocks if you want. You're going to tip forward a little bit, tuck your toes under, and roll yourself back into this little balanced squat. From this little balanced squat, you can have your hands on your thighs, on the floor, it doesn't matter. We're just going to step into garland pose. So if you have a favorite special way of getting into garland pose, or if this method is not good for you, then do it differently. Elbows are going into the knees, palms are together. Drive your feet down. So when I come into garland pose, I'm rocking my weight mostly onto the inside of my feet, inner line of my feet. And press the outer line of my feet down so that my feet are driving evenly into the floor. That pushes my knees out. Then palms together, elbows in. It's going to push my knees out a little bit more so I can feel my glutes engage. I'm going to push my feet down firmly and feel that lift up through my spine and through the central muscles of my body, from the pelvic floor all the way up to the crown of my head. It's not rigid, it's just stable and very controlled. It's a fair bit of work. If I release my elbows, I can keep my knees where they are, out, driving out. Relax your elbows a little, slice your right arm out to the side, and extend your left arm up towards the ceiling if you can. Gaze up. Push your feet down. You might have to lift a little. Come back to center. Left arm out to the side. Squeeze your waist and your belly in firmly. Squeeze your glutes and your knees out and reach up with the right arm and release. Well done. Palms together. And then if you can, carefully lower your butt to the floor. It's not a long way, but you might end up dropping. It's fine. It's fine to dump your ass on the floor when you've done a fair bit of work already. We're going to come into a stretch first, And then we're going to do a short core, short but intense core section, seated, and then you can move on from here. So a little stretch, staying with the wide legs but a bit softer. Diamond pose. So knees wide, feet far away, and all of the work that we've done so far in the dancing warrior flow, if you're following on from that, has been flat back. So we're going to work with a softer round through the spine. If you've brought this in as a separate section from a different flow, then you're going to go for, and it's a rounded spine, a lot of rolling spine work, then go for butterfly pose with a flat back, right? So we're going to round, hinge forward from your hips, walk your hands down, diamond pose, relax your head, relax your shoulders, and gently round through the spine. No intensity here, just let there be some softness. You want to be here just to reset before we move on. One more breath. Fantastic. Let's lift your head up. Slowly walk yourself back in until your shoulders are up over your hips and you can reset your seated setup here. So want to make sure you're sitting on your sitting bones, so you're not rounded and hunched. You don't want to be sitting back on your lower back. Lifted and tall. Feel the bones of your sitting bones underneath you. If you're not sure what that means, it just means you can lift up out of the floor tall without any really major strain. Feet are out in front of you, hip distance apart, knees are hip distance apart. Belly is engaged, right? So you're going to cinch your waist, pelvic floor up, shoulders relaxed. Press your ribs and hips in and together and firm your belly back between them. So it's like you're in a plank. Float your arms forward or rest them on your thighs. Hold your straight back and engaged abs and sit back a little way. If you're up for it, lift one leg and then the other and hold. Tension in your core, no rounding in your back, no effort in your back really. And you're going to hang out here. If you're feeling really spicy, tap your right leg down and then your left, but not if you find that you're now rocking back and forward and your back is arching and rounding and your core is shaking and you're sweating. You can just have your feet on the floor. That's fine. Do what you can do well. One more of these for me. Good. Release one leg at a time and come to butterfly pose. So feet a little further in, knees out wide, chest lifted, elbows on the inside of your knees. Stay tall through your spine and hinge forward. You will get to stretch out your hips. If you need to stretch them out more, do some wipers. You will get a chance. Okay, bring this back in. Step your feet forward. Actually, stretch your legs out. I'm going to do a held posture called Dandasana. It's a series of locks in yoga. It's very similar to L-sit prep in gymnastics. It's full body tension. So your positioning is same as boat. You sit up tall, shoulders relaxed, crown of the head lifted, waist in, pelvic floor up. Hands are down exactly by your sides, so they're in line with your hips. Don't tense anything yet because there's a lot of work when you get it just right. Shrug your shoulders back and down. Start by pulling your toes back towards your shins firmly enough that you feel like your heels are lifting up off the floor a little bit. Tense your thighs, pull your pelvic floor up like you're trying to get it up off the floor. Pull your belly in and up, tuck your ribs in and up, squeeze your chest in and up, but do not move your shoulders or your hips. And then push your arms down, tuck your chin in and hold it all. Squeeze every muscle. Breathe into your chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Well done. It's quite intense if you get every single muscle working. It's like a lot. Okay, one more boat pose exercise here. Feet out in front of you as before, shoulders back and down, engage, neutral spine plus rib hip connection. So squeeze the ribs and hips back like you're gluing them to your back, and then down like you're pulling them towards each other. Hollow or firm your belly in between, hands to your heart, sit back enough that you can feel the effort in your abs, but not so far you're shaking. And then exhale to twist to the right. Inhale to center, exhale, twist to the left. Try not to do this movement with your shoulders or your neck. It's your navel. So the navel is what rotates you. The spine goes around, the waist has to work, but you're not just rocking your shoulders from side to side. Knees don't move. If you've had enough, you can stop. Good, I'm finishing on my next left. Well done. Bring your hands to the floor. I'm just going to scooch my butt forward a little bit and then carefully roll down to reclining. It's not core without glutes and back. So feet are going to be hip distance apart, knees in line with your feet, close to your bum, but just slightly out of reach of your fingers. Relax your arms down by your sides. I recommend palms down, but if it feels tight on your shoulders, palms can be up. Draw your pelvic floor up, waist in tiny bit, pelvic curls. Press your feet down, curl your pelvis, and feel that rock on the hips, neutral on the inhale. Exhale, pelvic floor, feet pressed down firmly, and curl, and then back to neutral. So come back to this feeling of grounding down through your feet in order to elevate. Right, so as you perform your pelvic curls, you're in stable neutral spine. You're not passive and floppy, but you're not tense. You're just using your feet as the starting point. So squeeze your feet evenly down into the floor. Exhale and curl your pelvis up, tailbone pointing up, low back flattens. Let's add on. So you press your feet down, perform your pelvic curl, and start to pull your knees towards your toes. You do not release your pelvic curl. You keep it lifted and you peel each vertebra up a little higher, probably to your shoulder blades, but no higher. Then wait for an exhale and reverse that movement. Keep your tailbone up. The tension is also the same, right? Tailbone comes to neutral when you place it back down on the floor at neutral. Try that again. Push your feet down, pull your knees forward, tailbone curls up as you pull your pelvic floor up. Butt is squeezing, thighs are probably tensed. Pull your knees towards your toes, keep your butt squeezing up, keep your tailbone squeezing upwards, and then reverse it, right? So the knees start to pull back, spine comes down sequentially, work on an exhale. Keep working on it. You can go less height if it feels better for you. But the thing that people forget is you don't just relax to come down. Relax, the downward portion requires arguably more control than the upward portion because you're releasing your core sequentially whilst maintaining your butt glute engagement and pelvic floor engagement right up until the end where you come to neutral. I'm going to do one more of these. Good, squeezed at the top and then wait for an exhale to roll down. Fantastic. And then when you're at neutral, keep your hips neutral and pull your knees in towards your chest without tucking your hips under to start with, and just roll some circles with your knees here. Try and stay in neutral spine just for a moment, and let's switch directions. Good. And then rock your knees in towards your chest. Have a hug and roll. Work. Excellent. Okay. You're moving towards release and relax. Now, knees bent, feet flat to the floor. Bring the feet and knees together. Take your arms out wide. And just carefully rock your knees over to the right, but keep the legs fully stacked. So as you rock your knees to the right, the soles of the feet are pointing to the left. So you're not bending at the ankles or separating the knees. Turn your gaze to the left. Inhale carefully to center. You can have your head on a cushion if you need to. And do the same over to the left, gaze to the right. I want you to do this movement nice and steady and slow with long, smooth, diaphragmatic breaths. Little bit of a waist engagement as the legs come back up because you're using a little bit of muscle and we don't want to hurt your back. So the aim here is not to get your legs to the floor, it's to get them to wherever they get to while keeping your shoulders on the floor and getting a really nice stretch down the lower hips. Maybe the waist as well, depending on what's happening in your body right now. Smooth, steady, controlled, breath synchronized movements, nice and calm, nice and nourishing, nothing loose, nothing floppy. You just want to be in that sweet spot of easing out and lengthening out muscles. Okay, let's hold the next twist. Knees to the right, gaze to the left, and breathe. If you do need to change this twist in any way, please go ahead. Especially if your knees are not on the floor, you can loosen it up, you can separate the knees, you can do what you need to do to hang out here and breathe. No pain anywhere. Start relaxing your shoulders. Good. And bring it into center. And take it over to the other side. Nice and steady and slow. Sometimes when you've had a bit of a rest in one position, suddenly the movements become really big and jerky. So we don't need to do that. Really nice. Bring your knees back to center. You're going to bring your hands right up by your sides and either palms up or palms down, it's up to you. Just sit them underneath your hips and make sure your elbows are tucked in and your shoulders start to tuck in. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Push your feet down, push your elbows into the floor and start to pull your chest up. So you're bending at the elbows and pushing your chest up between them. And then if you want to, you can stretch your legs out. We're coming into fish pose here, and it's chest stretch. If your legs were better off bent, then bend them. So lengthen your legs forward if you are, and then squeeze your chest up towards the ceiling, push your elbows down, and press your shoulder blades together and down towards your hips. If you like to, you can look back. Some people like to wiggle themselves back until the top of their head is on the floor. I wouldn't recommend it because we haven't done a lot of back bending in the sequence. Lovely. When you're ready, just untangle one arm, extend it out to the side, bend your knees and rock onto your side Palms together. You can have something under your head if you want. Knees are bent. Keep them still. Keep your hips stacked, knees stacked and still. And you're going to circle your top arm up over your head behind you. Roll your shoulder back. So you're opening into an upper body twist from here. And then circle your arm all the way back around to meet the other palm in a movement called chalk circles. So palms stacked, shoulder stacked, knees stacked, circle your left arm up over your head behind you. Roll your upper body open into a twist. Doesn't matter how far back you go. And then circle your arm back around till the palms are together. Let's keep this going. You can work as fluidly or as slowly as you want. I'm going to do 3 more at a medium pace. The movement is much less effective if you let your hips and knees skew too much. That's why I ask people to make the movement smaller and keep the lower body stable, because actually the whole point is to open up your chest, relax your and release your shoulders and your upper back. Last one for me, do as many as you want. I'm going to roll into the open position here. My arms are in a T shape. My left shoulder is not on the floor because it won't reach, but I'm looking back lightly, not fully. And it's quite a big twist for me. So I'm quite happy to just hang out here. Left shoulder's quite lifted. My chest is open. It's quite a strong stretch. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And I'm just going to walk my knees back into center. So I'm lying in my T-shaped position again. I'm just going to take my right arm up and over. Knees are stacked, rocking over to the side, just checking. Again, you can have something under your head if you want to. The other side. So sweep the top arm up and back. Keep everything stable. Rotate back into this beautiful thoracic twist, opening windows. And at your own pace, nice and steady, you know what you're doing now. So 4 more. My last one, I'm going to hold it and roll all the way back and just hang out here. Just chill for a bit. Got one last stretch to work on. If you're the kind of person who gets a tight sciatic nerve or piriformis muscle, if a tight lower back or sciatica is a thing for you, then I would recommend that you might want to add in a few rounds of wipers and a version of pigeon pose to stretch out your glutes, especially if you've just worked the dancing warrior sequence. Should be okay, but you know, it should be okay, but you may want to take a view on that and decide if you're going to do it. Lovely. When you're ready, let's walk this back to center. And we're going to finish the sequence in cobbler, reclining cobbler pose. Feet and knees together. Just gently let your knees open out to the side so the soles of the feet are together. If you wish, you can take your opposite elbow to opposite hand and take your arms up and over your head. And if you need something underneath your hips or your thighs, go ahead. If this is too deep for you, you can do any version adjustment. You can go for a wide leg knees to chest. You can go for wide leg semi-supine, just lying down with your knees wide and your feet wide, or have your knees resting against each other for radical rest pose. Arms need to be wherever they don't tense your shoulders up. I like this because it's a good chest stretch, but if your shoulders feel tense, then take your arms to goalpost or T-shape or somewhere else. And breathe. Lovely, lovely stuff. When you're ready, let's bring the knees in. We're going to take a full body stretch really carefully, lengthen out, reach away. Obviously, you can have longer. I always recommend Shavasana, especially if you feel you've worked hard. But if you're sealing the practice with me, finish your full body stretch, roll yourself over and up into a seat. However you approached this practice, congratulate yourself on what you have done, that you've come to your mat and that you've done the best you can. Make a note of anything if you're working with me and you want to ask any questions. And make a note of anything that you think, you know, next time when I come to my mat, I'm going to approach a little differently or give myself some advice about what I do next. So shoulders are back, hands down by your sides, fingertips pressing away. Inhale, circle your arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Let it all go. It's a big tick in your proverbial box for today. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for doing what you could do and trying your best. And I'll see you next time.